Hey, sports and drafts fans, it's Wednesday night. It's 8 o'clock on the West Coast. He's Dave. I'm Chuck. Welcome to Sports and Drafts for another week of NFL talk. And how you doing, Dave? I love the new glasses.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, those look sharp on you. We were talking before, the little Harry Carey. Look, you know, start calling ball.
I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, so welcome everyone. We got a lot going on tonight. We're going to try to move along quickly. Again, if you haven't, if you're watching any kind of sports at all this week, or news or anything like that, you've heard about obviously probably two of the biggest stories this week. First is Kyrie Irving, and he's for his own personal reasons doesn't want to be vaccinated, and with Brooklyn there, they've decided that he either needs to. There was talk that he wouldn't be able to play the home games or wouldn't be able to go play at maybe in other arenas that have vaccine mandates, that kind of stuff, and so they thought they might work that out. But now the organizations come out and said basically that you have to. We respect your beliefs, we respect your position, but we need people here that are going to be here. So when you're ready to be vaccinated, or if the mandate goes away, then you're welcome back to the team. So, you have any thoughts about that?
The only thought I really have about it is you can't give preferential treatment to like one guy. Andrew Wiggins for the Golden State Warriors, it's mandated in San Francisco to enter the arena. So he had a similar situation. He couldn't play home games unless he got vaccinated, and he didn't want to, but finally he went and got vaccinated because he would like to be with his team and he would like to be an NBA player. If those are the rules, then I don't know. Maybe he asked for a trade, and then when he's in the New York Cities, he just doesn't play against those teams or the Warriors, or, I don't know how he would maneuver it to force where he could play more games and not have to be in New York State or, San Francisco or whatever. But I mean, you can't allow things just for one guy when the rest of the team, I'm sure everyone on his team and all his teammates probably all didn't want to get it either 100%, but they got it so they could do their jobs. Other people in other professions are getting forced to either get it or they're going to lose their jobs, and there's no preferential treatment for them. So he's just got a decision to make. Do I want to be an NBA player anymore because these are the rules that I have to follow, especially if I'm going to play for the Brooklyn Nets and how my state is situated for the franchise I play for? And, it's a life decision he has to make. How important is it to him to not get the vaccine? Is it worth him retiring and not playing anymore? That's really an only decision he can make, but I don't think you can just allow one guy because he's better than some of the other guys in the league to get preferential treatment or anything. So he's going to have to make a choice.
Yeah, no, I respect his decision, and I respect the organization's decision. I don't hold any ill will to any player or any employee out there that decides that, that they don't want to get the shot. There's, I've read stories of a lot of I've read stories of, people have medical conditions that really can't get it, and they they lose their job, and that sucks in that sense. But no, I have respect for both sides of it. I don't have any ill will towards Kyrie or the organization. It is just what it is right now. Boy, we started with a really heavy topic, so we'll go ahead and get the other one out of the way. Then we'll get to the fun stuff. Obviously, you saw history this last weekend. We'll get into that in a second, but probably, you went to the Raiders and Bears game, and so you saw basically John Gruden's final coaching stint in the NFL, probably for the rest of his life, and so and there's still a lot being unpacked there, and it's you know what, I don't even know that if you have any thoughts on that. There's a lot still being unpacked. It's just being out just stuff coming back to, in life to haunt you. Some of what he said was not appropriate, and for sure, absolutely. And but it's a dangerous world, and out there with what you put out on social media or in emails and what you say to anyone. But anyway, you had other than what came down the day after, you probably had a pretty good time, I'd guess.
Oh yeah, I had a great time. So there with my buddy, Eric and his son, who's a senior in high school. They're from Oregon. And hey, mom and dad. Hey, Stephen Noni. Thanks for watching. But we had a great time. It was Eric's son. He's 17 years old. It was his first flight ever to come down to San Diego so that we could road trip up to the game in Las Vegas. So there they are after the game, after the big victory with the Bears winning over the Raiders, which, to be honest, we didn't really expect going into the game, even though in the last picture, we all got new Bears hats on Saturday before the game, and Eric and Ryan got their last name put on their hat. And so I didn't want to put my name on my hat. So I said, well, I'm going to put the date of the game of the day that the Bears beat the Raiders in Las Vegas. So I'm going to print it on my hat. So I always remember the game I went to where I saw the Bears win. And so I put it out there in the universe, and it just happened to work out that way. So that was pretty cool. And we had a great time and met a lot of great Bears fans. And I just want to say, for all of the crap that the Raiders fans get about having fights, at their games or whatever, or them, just kind of being crazy, we could not have had a better experience being away fans than the Raider fans. Every Raider fan that was around us was absolutely awesome all day long. They were great. I mean, I didn't see any negative fans at all, anywhere, all day, even after the game, after they lost. We got a lot of, hey, that was a big win for you guys. You guys played really well. Your defense, I mean, they were great. I had no complaints about anything about the game. The stadium was great. All the entertainment that they had at the game was amazing because they're in Las Vegas. So the kind of people they can pull, just, they had people, coming on at just TV timeouts, popping up on the board, DJs,
Really?
saying go Raiders, and Ludacris was the halftime show, and they had Chris Angel perform a trick at the start before the game where he broke Houdini's record getting out of a straitjacket in the amount of time he did it, and he did it from 10 times higher than Houdini did it. He did it from 100 feet up, and it was just so amazing. There's so many fun things. The owner, Mark Davis, he was down on the field with Chris Angel because Chris Angel's son has cancer. He's been battling it for 5 years, and so he was also promoting the charity that he has, to try to end childhood cancer. So that was great, and there was a lot of charitable things like that at the stadium that you could help with, and just great atmosphere, amazing stadium. It's beautiful inside and out. Fans are great. Our team won. I mean, it couldn't have really been a better game for us to go to. Our seats were great. Just perfect experience. It's the best experience we could have had. So we were just really thrilled about every part of it.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, no, and I'm glad you got to do that. I'd like to go see a game at Allegiant. Just check out that check out the stadium and just kind of the life around, now that you have a big professional sports team there, and with the pedigree of the Raiders, I bet it's a great atmosphere there in Vegas. Well, I was also at a game this weekend. We got to do a little bit of tailgating before we got there about 8:30, and they let us in at 9. We got all set up with a couple of canopies. Had the TV there watching the morning games. Some of the wives there, and we had a blast. We played ladder ball for a while. We had a breakfast theme for the food, so I brought my drink that I was making was the Bloody Marys there, and then the bacon on the skewer right there. I actually smoked on the smoker and made those bacon. And then I made some breakfast sliders here, and this little pan up there is some bacon wrapped sausage links, also made on the smoker. So, yeah, I had a good time. There we were, Robert. There, we're hanging out in the stadium at the seats, and um, you know, we after the game, those are his tailgate buddies, and they've been doing this for a lot of years, and so their seats are all right in, with a couple rows of each other. I mean, they're all right there, and yeah, so I had a really good time. I kind of wish there would have been a little bit more offense in that game. 17-10 was not a normal day for the Cardinals, but they still covered, I think, the 5.5. And but no, actually, Trey Lance didn't do a bad job. His first drive down, he was driving and then threw an interception on his first drive. And but yeah, I mean, it was a fun day. So it looks like we both had a lot of fun and good times. Hey, before we get into football of last week this week, we wouldn't be sports and drafts without the drafts. And this week, I picked. I'm sticking with the theme of Oktoberfest and October. So I actually picked a local brewing, Chandler, Arizona, and this is their Oktoberfest, their German style lager. And this is what I actually bought and brought to the game and to drink and tailgating. And so it's easy. It's just an easy drinking. It's got a nice smooth taste to it. I love it. I mean, it's good. I'd buy it again. It's 5.5 ABV, but it's a good drinking beer. And it's not too heavy. So it's great on the, even, with the color, it's great on a warmer day and enjoyable. What do you got?
Nice. So I stuck to a theme too. Mine's fall, but a little bit different. So you can see I have my Giants jersey on today because we have a big game 5 tomorrow night against our rival Dodgers. Sorry, Uncle Dan, I know you're watching, but we need that win so we can get to the NLCS, the only game 5 out of all of the first rounds. So I got the Strike Brewing Company out of Sacramento, and this is called Fall Ball. It's a 7% hazy IPA. Okay. So I got the fall ball going. So I got my fall baseball theme going tonight. And yeah, hopefully my Giants can move on and play the Braves in the NLCS after tomorrow night.
All right, let's hope they can do that. Alan's checking in. Thanks for joining the show. Says, "What's up, Dave?"
Hey, what's up, Alan?
And thanks for joining the show. So if we get into the picks of week 6, just to kind of recap where we are with our own picks, is if you haven't joined the show before, Dave and I pick the games each week, and Alan is on my side, Oktoberfest for the win. And thanks, Alan, and thanks again for joining the show. So we're get up our little thing here. So you picked up a game on me. I was 6 games up on you last week, and now you picked up a game, and I think that was the Bills-Chiefs game that you got me on.
Yeah.
But you got back up to 500.
Yeah, gotta at least get to 500. Can't have a losing record, that's for sure. So maybe I'll just chip away at you and get you by 1 for the next 5 weeks and tie it up.
Right, and it's going to start getting harder when you got a couple of teams each week on a bye week, and so
less games.
Yeah, so yeah, I need to. I like that one game. I'll tell you, because I went back and watched the show. I watched all the picks on the show and compared, and when we got to that Bills-Chiefs game, and I picked first, you picked second, and you said, "I'm gonna take the Bills just to be different," and I said, "Yep, I think you're actually going to win that game," and you did. So good on you on that. That was a good pick. But where are we at? So I got to be honest. Okay, what was your game of the week or player of the week? Either game of the week, offensive.
I'll do my offensive player of the week.
Okay.
My offensive player of the week this week was the GOAT, Tom Brady. I mean, he had 411 yards passing and 5 touchdowns. 3 of his touchdowns were over 20 yards. So, he's just still doing it. Did it against a bad Miami team, but still, if you're throwing for 411 and 5 touchdowns, he was definitely my offensive player of the week.
Yeah, he was my offensive player of the week also because he got me 51, almost 52 points in fantasy. And it was, he was a big reason why I pulled out the victory this week. So, yeah, he was, it was a nice, I think, statement game. I mean, yeah, sure, the Patriot game is wet and everything, but it's a nice way to come back and drop a lot of points and back to normal, I guess. I think he plays better in a warmer environment,
Yeah, it seems pretty loose.
How about your defensive player of the week?
Defensive player of the week was cornerback Darius Slay, the Eagles. He had 2 interceptions of Sam Darnold this week in the Eagles win. So yeah, he had 2 picks. So if you can get 2 interceptions in a game, I was looking at a couple other guys who had quite a few tackles, double-digit tackles, but I thought the 2 interceptions in a game was more impressive than a guy with 10 or 13 tackles.
Yeah, I got to be honest. Actually, this is a little bit of a homer. Just because I said it before the game, I'm actually going to take my player was J.J. Watt because I hadn't really heard much of his name called this year yet. And we sat down in our seats. I said, you know what? J.J. Watt needs to have a breakout game. He's a big marquee player coming here, and sure, he's getting a lot of attention and it's helping other players, but he needs to have a breakout game, and he did. He was in. I think I know he had a sack and he had a couple of assists as well, but it was in the first drive it was the first big defensive play they had was created by J.J. Watt. So. I'm not going to say that it was an amazing game for him, and I don't know what his stats are for the game. I guess if I could look. Yeah, he didn't have any sacks. He had 3 tackles, but not an impressive game. But he needed to have something. He needed to show up and at least make some sort of outward statement that he's a part of the team and take a leadership role on that team. And so. So I picked him. Not going to be the best one of the top that I could have picked this year, but I'm sure there's a lot of better players last week on the defense, but that's who I'm going to pick. Defense. I don't know. What do we got? What was your game of the week?
My game over the week, there was 2 overtime games, but one stood out to me, and that was the Packers barely getting by the Bengals. I was just really impressed with Joe Burrow and, how hard he played in that game and how much, you could see on the field. Part of it, how hard he wanted to win, and part of it, how young he is to not know when to slide yet still, and he's going to get hurt again real quick. But just for the Bengals to stick in that game like they did and take it to overtime and needing, they got some help for Mason Crosby throughout the day as he missed quite a few field goals. But still, just for the Bengals to hold in there and make that as close of a game as they did, that was my game of the week. Along with, maybe probably I'm going to guess your game of the week, which would be Chargers-Browns, because that was almost my game of the week just because it was so high scoring and back and forth. I mean, that one was really close for me also.
Yeah, I was going to pick the Chargers-Brown game, but I wanted to kind of maybe apologize to the NFL for our comments last week about putting such a horrible game on Monday night. And I'm not going to say that it was, first half, you shouldn't put yourself in that kind of deficit that Baltimore did, especially when you're playing the 1-3 Colts or 1-3, 1-4 Colts. And 1-3 at the time. So, but they were down 16 points in the fourth quarter, came back and just really dominated. Lamar Jackson had, I don't know how many records, and a crazy, 84% or 86% completion rate, with 40 plus passes, setting records. So, yeah, no, it was that. I'm going to make up for my negative comments about last week that we were talking about. Why would you put this game on a Monday night? And it ended up being a good game. And so, but yeah, that Chargers Browns game, that was a crazy game, and definitely a lot of points. My game of the week, I'm changing it. My game of the week was Texas A&M beating Alabama.
That's a good one. I can get on board with that.
I watched that game, and and when they let Alabama back in the game, I was like, oh, here it goes. Gosh darn it. Another one slips away from someone. And, and they were able to hang on and kick that field goal to win. And that was a crazy game. And halftime, the commentators were coming back from the halftime show and everything. Well, what does Alabama have to do to get back in this game? And they start laughing like, I don't know. Remember last time I've had to say that. We're always talking about that with the other team. How is the other team going to get back in this game? And so it was a fun game to watch.
I'll side note and shout out that Baltimore Colt game we were just talking about. My friend Mackenzie and her daughter were at that game, and Mackenzie's a Colt fan, so she had her Peyton Manning jersey on, I believe, and then her daughter had a Ravens jersey on, and she got these amazing tickets from her company she works for because she lives in Maryland now. And I mean, it looked like they were damn near on the field. I mean, they were like a few rows up from the field. They were right there. So she said they had a fun time, but did not have the same fan experience that I did. Apparently, there was a lot of Baltimore pretty aggressive trash talker fans harassing her in her area. So, but she said it was fun, and she was thankful that her company got tickets so that her and her daughter could attend. That was her daughter's first NFL game. So what a way to see it, a Monday night game right by the field. That's pretty awesome.
No, that's fun. I'm glad they got to do that. All right, so finally, what coach you got on the hot seat this week?
So there's two teams that haven't won a game, and I trashed the other one last week because he was inappropriate and hasn't won a game. And this week it's going to be a little bit different. So I'm going to select the other coach that hasn't won a game yet, and that'd be Dan Campbell of the Detroit Lions. He just started. I realize this is his first year, so he's not really going to probably be on a hot seat. But after the game, he was crying. And he was crying in the post-game interview, which, I can understand. This is his job. He has a lot of emotions. His job is tied to wins. He's trying to work hard. He's not getting the results he wants. That can be frustrating. So I'll be really interested to see how he does this week because he has the most winnable game he'll have this whole season. But just because he also hasn't won a game yet this year, even though he's a first-year coach, I'm still going to put him on the hot seat.
Yeah, that was exactly who I picked as well, was Dan Campbell. You're 0-5, and I mean, Minnesota's tough, and you can look at the schedule and whatnot, but so I picked Dan Campbell as well, and it's just really for the win-loss, not so much his after-game breakdown, if you will. But yeah,
no crying in football.
There's no crying.
Where's Tom Hanks? Can he make a sequel about football? There's no crying in football. We get Dick Vermeil. Maybe he'll be the new Dick Vermeil.
Dick Vermeil.
He can be the new Dick Vermeil.
Oh man, yeah.
Players love Dick Vermeil. Maybe these players will love him after that. He showed how much he cares. We can go for it.
Yeah, I was gonna pick Frank Reich again as the Lions, but no, Dan Campbell moved back up, and because Frank Reich, I mean, the Lions the Colts. They're just not as good as even what they played the other night. And I think that the Baltimore Ravens just let them look good, unnecessarily. And then finally decided, maybe they decided to spot them a bunch of points in a lead and said, okay, and then we'll turn it on in the fourth quarter. I don't know what kind of games are being played out there. But anyway, so all right, so pretty soon. I mean, pretty soon. Next few weeks, maybe someone gets fired because there's a lot of bad teams out there, and we'll see if some of these coaches actually, on the hot seat end up getting the boot. Matthew says, "What's up, Dave? Missed you this weekend."
He was at the game, and I think we were probably just having some. We completely forgot to reach out and get in touch and meet each other at the snack bar. I had another friend in town here in Temecula, Rich, and on Monday he posts all these pictures where he's at the game, and I was like, yeah, we probably need to communicate a little bit more as pals, because I was also at the game, and I didn't even know you were going. So I had a couple people at the game who I probably could have enjoyed a beer with, or saw at halftime or something, but just sometimes doesn't work out that way. But I hope they had a great time and they had as good an experience as I did attending that game.
Hey, before we get into the picks, our picks this week, how about we jump in to do the play it through person of the week, and Robert says, or outside the stadium, and but how?
Yeah, I missed Robert too. Robert was in Vegas, and I didn't see him at all either.
And but why don't we jump? Are you good to do the play it through person of the week now?
Dude, I'm always good to do the play it through person of the week.
So I'm going to shut up and remove myself and turn it over to you.
Awesome. Yeah, so our play it through person of the week this week is a young man. He's a junior in high school, 6'1", 205-pound running back out of Baker High School in Florida, named Kayleb Wagner. He's plays for the Baker High team. They're a 1A defending champion. And a couple weeks ago, he broke Derrick Henry's 2012 single-game rushing yards Florida high school football record. And he did that with 25 attempts for 535 yards and 6 touchdowns in a 49-48 win. Derrick Henry rushed it 45 times for 502 yards. That was the previous record. So 2 weeks ago, he broke that record. And then the next week, so this past week, Wagner then rushed for 34 times for 426 yards and 5 touchdowns. His 5 touchdowns, there were 43 yards, 69 yards, 23 yards, 11 yards, and 62 yards. So he busted some big ones. And that was in a 43-42 win in overtime. So they needed all of those touchdowns. He's our play it through person of the week because he's continued to play it through, even though Kayleb was born without a left hand and part of his forearm. So you can just imagine being a running back and only having one hand as far as ball control. When he gets the handoff, he's only grabbing it basically mainly with his right arm. He's really only carrying it with his right arm. So to protect that ball, he's had to figure out some tricks so he's not fumbling, catching out of the backfield. He's going to be catching one-handed, but, he's continued to play it through and he's breaking records. Derrick Henry recognized Wagner's accomplishment on Instagram after he broke his record, and the Jacksonville Jaguars, Jacksonville is very close to where Kayleb lives, gave him sideline passes so he could meet Derrick Henry during last Sunday's game because the Titans were playing in Jacksonville, so it just kind of worked out perfectly as far as timing. And Henry right here, he made time to meet Wagner before the game. Kayleb's averaging 19.4 yards per carry this season and averaging 409 rushing yards per game already this season. So just amazing. I'll definitely be keeping track of Kayleb to see if he can beat, Derrick Henry has the season rushing record in Florida high school for 2012. So I don't know if he'll have enough games to accomplish that to catch him right now, but I'll definitely be tracking that and see if he can break that record. But just, for him to continue to play it through, do as well as he's doing, with being born with just, basically one hand there, for all those reasons. And he's doing so well. Hopefully he can continue on, into a collegiate level, get a scholarship, being the amazing running back he is in high school. He's still got a senior year. So for that reason, Kayleb Wagner is our play it through person of the week.
Now, an amazing young man and story. I mean, and as you said it kind of in the beginning, just not having that, that other hand. I mean, not only is it so much, I mean, it's obviously ball control, but even running. I mean, there's a lot of leverage that comes and all of that. So he's adapted well and obviously a fantastic back. And so I hope he does have enough games. I hope he beats the record, Derrick Henry's record. So, and he'll probably have some good opportunities after high school. So great pick. Alrighty, on to getting our picks for week 6 of the NFL. Dave's got 5 games to make up on me. Let's see if we have 5 games that we differ this week. I have to open my file because I have my picks on there that I highlighted, but I'll let you go ahead and pick the first game. We're going to be looking at the Bucks are visiting Philadelphia and are favored by 7 points. What says you, Dave?
I says Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time and threw 5 touchdowns last week. So I'm taking the Bucks.
Yeah, I might have to wait for my Word document to open to see who I highlighted. No, I don't. I picked the Bucks. Not that the Eagles are playing horrible, but they're just lose. Yeah, they just not consistent. And totally the Bucks in Philadelphia there. So we have another game across the pond. The Dolphins are playing the Jaguars. Another game, like we said last week. It's like, what is London really getting? The cream of the crop games over there.
I think they want the London Bridge to fall down while the NFL teams we're sending over there are crossing the bridge in the buses. I think that would be their preference because we are not sending good teams for them to watch.
No, I don't think so. So Dolphins are favored, and I believe the Dolphins are getting their quarterback back this week. I heard something today. Or was it somebody else, another team? Thought they said their quarterback has been hurt and was coming back this week. So does that make any difference to you? Again, Dolphins against the winless Jags?
Not really.
Taking the Dolphins. I'll take you want to see who I pick, huh? I actually highlighted I'm taking the Jaguars.
Me too.
You were going to wait to see who I picked.
I was like, this is going to be their first win. I think they might win. I think this could be their first win. They could pull it out. It's in London. It's not like, they're both on the road. I think this could be the week they do it. They could get one. So you get one. This is it.
Robert, I agree. Lawrence will go off first half stats that Brady puts up. We'll see. But all right. So now we have Green Bay visiting your Bears, who won big last week. They're going to be in Chicago. Bears coming off a big week big win in Vegas. They're amped up. They're ready to keep it going with Justin Fields. And can they hold it together and beat the Packers, or not lose by 4.5? I
was trying to think if I was going to do a Harry Carey impersonation, with my new glasses to pick the Bears, Justin Fields can pitch well up into the 7th inning, But I think my last week's The Bears song would be better. But yeah, I mean, the Bears didn't steer me wrong. It's going to be tough. I mean, those Packers, Aaron Rodgers is flinging it now. He feels pretty locked in, I think. But the Bears at home, I'm just going to take them. I didn't think they were going to beat the Raiders, and they end up doing that, and their defense is playing really well. So even though the Packers have a pretty good offensive line, I think I'll take the Bears. I'll just roll with my team there and see if they can at least, stay in it and keep it close at home.
Okay, I'll if I lose this, it'll be on the points, but I'm going to take the Packers. And Yeah, like you said, Aaron Rodgers is slinging
Smart
it.
pick.
They've got the juice going right now. And I'm not taking anything away from the Bears. It could be a 6. I mean, it could be a 3, a field goal game, and I wouldn't doubt that for a second. But yep, taking the Packers. Kim, thanks for joining us. Thanks for checking in, and it's great to see you too, even if it's just your Facebook avatar. All right, so the Cincinnati Bengals are going to Detroit, and the Bengals on the road are 3.5-point favorites. I believe that I did take the Bengals here.
I'm going to take the Lions. It's at home.
You don't have to. What you cut out there? What's that?
I sit on him now. His team, after he cried, Dan Campbell's got to win a game. He's got to at least win a game or not, lose by 3.5. He's got to keep it close. So I'm going to take the Lions.
Kim's got the Bengals, and
it's a smart pick.
Alrighty, move it.
I got to make up games, so I got to make up a story of why I'm taking these crappy teams. I thought I was going to get you on the Jaguars when I was like, oh, no way, he's taking the Jaguars. I'm either going to bury myself in a huge hole or I'm going to get back in it.
And I actually did earlier take the Jaguars. I actually had to wait for my Word document to open to figure out who I did take in that game. But yeah, I did take the Jaguars. So the lowly Houston Texans are going to Indianapolis. Indianapolis, a big 9.5-point favorite. That is a huge. I mean, Texans are getting zero respect. Of course, when the Bills drop 40 points on you, what does the spread really matter? That's huge, and I do not trust the Colts in any way, shape, or form. But I'm still going to take them at 9.5.
Nice. I'm taking the Texans just because that's a huge spread, and I thought they'd get blown out last week, and they didn't. They actually stayed in it. So just because of the spread, I'm taking the Texans.
Smart pick. Robert says, crying coach, going to fire him up. Very well could. He's also taking he's taking the Bengals, and Kim is taking the Texans. So yeah, okay. Oh, sorry, gotta get rid of comment first. All right, back to banners. So many things to click here. All right, the Rams of Los Angeles are going to New York and also have a big spread against Daniel Jones. I don't know if we'll have, or no, Daniel Jones is still in concussion protocol, but they say he's could be on track to being back. Don't know if it's really going to matter. Saquon Barkley twisted his ankle. I think who else is out? I think is it Sterling Shepard? Yeah, they're beat up there in New York. Period. Even if they play, they're beat up. I'm taking the Rams here at 9.5.
Yeah, I'm taking the Rams too. And if I'm Daniel Jones, I don't want to come back from concussion protocol and meet Aaron Donald. Because then you're going to be right back in the concussion protocol.
Right. And Kim's got the Rams on that, and Robert's Rams by several touchdowns. So the Chiefs of Kansas City going to play the football team in Washington. Chiefs just suck. And but yeah, I'm taking them. I got to take them. 7 points.
Yeah, I think I see this as it could be a possible bounce back game for them where they kind of try to start getting back on track. So I'm going to take the Chiefs also.
Good. I thought you were going to take Washington just to be different. Kim's going to take Washington. All right. You know what? Washington's defense isn't horrible, so I can see them keeping it close. But 7 points isn't really that much when you're talking about the Chiefs when they're playing like they should be playing. So the Vikings are only getting 1 at the Panthers, and one of the best defenses in the league, of course. Yeah, I'm gonna let you. Who did I pick? Yeah, did you pick first? You pick this one.
I'm going to take the Vikings. I just, they're winning some games. I know the Panthers have played fairly decent at the start of the season, but I think the Vikings will win this game, and it's only one. So it's basically who do you think is going to win the game? So I'm going to take the Vikings.
Yeah, I am going to take the Panthers of Carolina here. I just think they're playing some pretty good ball. I think they'll continue to put things together. And they're keeping things relatively close. So yeah, I'm going to take the Panthers here. Yeah. So, and you know what? Kim and Robert both agree with me. So it looks like you're going to lose this.
Whatever.
This is gonna be a fun game. Chargers are going to Baltimore. Hopefully, Justin Herbert knows how to play in cold weather. Yeah. So Ravens by 3. Ravens did not look good against the 1-3 Colts, but we're able to outscore them in the fourth quarter and overtime and win that game. Basically against a defense that was finally worn out. I've gone with them all year. I can't change this. I think of the Browns. I want to say the Browns are a better team than the Ravens right now, but I'm taking Chargers because regardless, Indianapolis stopped scoring points. And when you look at the Browns-Chargers games, Chargers didn't stop scoring points. And so I'm taking the Chargers.
Yep, I'm taking the San Diego Superchargers. And when I was writing, so I write notes and I'm writing down our picks and stuff. This game, I started writing because I write basically the team by however many over whoever it is. I started writing Chargers 3 over, and then I looked at it harder and I was like, oh, the Ravens are actually favored. In my mind, I had the Chargers favored immediately in this game. So I'm definitely taking the Chargers also.
Yeah, some of the numbers that you sent me didn't have the negative sign in front of them.
Oh.
Like the Bengals, it said Bengals positive 3.5 at Lions. So I thought, oh, he just didn't put the negative. Yeah. Hopefully you didn't copy paste that and I said them wrong.
No, they're all negatives.
So we both got the Chargers there. Everyone's saying the Chargers. Here's going to be a tough game. Cardinals are going to Cleveland. Browns are -3. Cardinals did not look like themselves last week. It was we were talking about a possible letdown game, and it was close. I mean, still, it was only a 1 touchdown win against the 49ers and against their backup quarterback's first start. And so, it was I'm concerned about this one. And I am concerned about this one. I highlighted the Cardinals, but I'm not 100% on board with taking that pick, just because I'm a homer here in Arizona, and that's a tough one. I'm going to take the Cardinals, though. I'm going to take the Cardinals and probably, eat that one.
I'm taking the Cardinals too because they're 5-0. The Browns aren't 5-0, and Kyler Murray is up for MVP talks, which he should be. The Browns allowed the Chargers to score over 40 points. So I'm taking the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals could score a ton of points too. So yeah, I'm with you. I think the Cardinals can pull this out.
Yeah, I hope so. But they're going to have to score a lot more points than they did last week because their defense isn't stopping the run like as well as they should. And so, so we'll see. So the Raiders with their brand new interim head coach from the special teams, I believe he was the special teams coach, moving up to interim head coach, going to the Mile High City in Denver, and Denver Broncos are actually favored. This is a division game. Yeah. And Broncos are favored by 3.5. I mean, how far have the Raiders fallen in the last 2 weeks? I wouldn't have picked Broncos to be a favorite here. But I'm still going to take the Broncos.
Yep, me too. At home, Mile High, good home field advantage. The Raiders are going through a lot of stuff right now, having transition, without their head coach, who's a very dominant head coach in the locker room. So, yeah, I'll definitely take the Broncos in this transition game right after the Raiders lose their coach.
Yeah, it's you could see something. I mean, one of the things with Gruden being gone is Derek Carr. Gruden's always, who's my next quarterback? Kind of looking past Carr. Thinks he's a good quarterback, but he's really always looking for his future quarterback, and that's always, I'm sure, was always in the back of his mind that he's playing for his job every week, and he doesn't have to worry about that now. And I would hope. I don't know this other coach, but I would think that weight is a little bit off his shoulders. Maybe he plays a little more relaxed, and or he goes out and overplays because, hey, I'm it now, and I'm going to prove it and make a lot of mistakes in doing so. So, so that'll be interesting. Corey says the Raiders still the same team, have to prove. Thanks for joining the show, Corey. Good to see you, buddy. And we'll have to get back to Hawaii sometime soon or on a cruise. All right. Moving along. Cowboys are 3.5 at the Patriots. We might have a difference here. Who do you got on here?
I think the Cowboys just have too much firepower on offense, and the Patriots don't have enough playmakers to score points, so I'm taking the Cowboys.
I highlighted the Patriots, so I'm going to take the Patriots, and hopefully they only lose by a field goal. And
there you go.
So, and just going back, Broncos are going to go get Carr, have him scared. Cowboys. So I think I'm out there on an island, but I think you look at what happened to Tom Brady going in there. I'm sure, again, Bill Belichick knows Tom Brady, how he plays, but he's not he doesn't know how necessarily. I mean, he does, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers play. It's a totally different scheme, and Brady isn't running the same offense that he was in New England. So I think that Bill Belichick can slow down Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott. So I'm gonna hope they keep it close. I'm gonna hope. Robert's taking the boys too. Whew, hope I get to come back here next week and strut it a little bit. So the Seahawks are going to go visit the Steelers, which is Steelers are actually favored by 5.
No Russell Wilson.
Yeah, and I thought Geno did okay.
Me too. It wasn't his fault. Lockett fell down on that route where he got picked at the end of the game.
Yeah,
guy
absolutely.
Slipped. You know.
And so I'm gonna take the Seahawks here.
Impressive. I'm gonna take the Steelers.
Of course you are.
Gotta rep for my dad and my aunt and Kelly, who gets on the show every few weeks. Gotta rep that Pittsburgh blood that I got running through my veins, that Pennsylvania blood.
What's funny is I just looked over at my Word document on what I picked earlier, and I picked the Steelers.
No takebacks.
Nope, I'll stick with it. I'll stick with the pick. And ouch, Pittsburgh covers with Big Ben and Najee. They're just not the same. They haven't been playing the same. So Kim's got the Seahawks. So final game Monday night, Bills at Tennessee playing the Titans. Who do you got here? I'll let you pick first.
The Bills might be the best team in the NFL right now, besides your Cardinals that are undefeated. So just for that reason, and the Titans being a little bit inconsistent, I'm going to take the Bills because we've seen them blow teams out. So 5.5 really isn't a lot for them from what they've shown. Even though Tennessee is a decent team, I just think the Bills are clicking, and they've been getting better and better for the last 3 years. So I see them being able to handle a 5.5 right now on the road.
Yeah, the Titans are still one of those teams that you don't know what's going to come out each week, and and they should. I mean, they fell hard. I mean, they've had a couple of good years, and they have fallen hard this year, I think. And so, I'm going to go. Whatever Kim, Robert, and Corey pick is who I'm going to pick. And Kim's picking the Bills. Okay, Robert's picking the Bills. Of course, I saw this up front before I clicked on it, and Corey's picking the Bills. So it looks like we're all on the same page with picking the Buffalo Bills by 5.5 over the Titans. So, and that's it. Picks are in, and we are. Let me click back over here, and Roberts was laughing, but yeah, I mean it's a good consensus. Now watch the Titans win, and we all look like fools. That's how it works, and that's why we don't actually bet a lot of money on any of this. And but I need to. I keep getting those ads and the things on my phone. I'm tempted to just put $25 on an account and do something.
Super draft. Check it out.
Yeah. You'll have to teach me how. We'll have to have a Zoom meeting. You'll teach me how.
Robert's the man. You want to talk to Robert? He does better than I do.
Yeah. Sometimes everybody's doing it. But is that the reason that you just peer pressure?
Mm-hmm.
That got us in trouble in the 80s. Or me.
Breakdancing. And
I can give you a link. But yeah, so no, I'd like to try it out. I'm one of those people is like, yeah, trying to just give away my money like that. I just invested in Bitcoin or bought Bitcoin for the first time last week. So just going to see how that rides. Corey's going to Vegas next month, betting heavy. Ooh, send me a text and when you're going, unless you're there. No, is it your dad's birthday weekend there in Vegas? Is it that time of year? I know they go every year for Dan's birthday. And but yeah, so anyway, so the picks are locked in. There's a few areas that you can catch up to me. I think you have a good shot at a couple of them, and I really do. So we'll see where we fall next week. But there's some really good games. I'm really looking forward to that Cardinals game, the Charger game, and out of all those, what game are you gonna make sure you don't miss?
Game of the week, huh? Man, that's a tough one. I'm really curious about kind of that Ravens Charger one, just because I didn't expect the Ravens to be favored, really. And so I'm really interested to see why the odds makers pick them to win that game when the Chargers have been playing so well. Yeah. So I think that's kind of the game that I'll keep my eye on. That one's curious to me with the spread.
And it's not a night game, so it won't be like super cold there in October. So I mean, it'll be that will be an interesting one, and I hope the Chargers. To me, this is like a playoff game, just like the Cardinals Browns. I think is a playoff game. You got two teams that are gonna most likely make the playoffs unless something they fall off the cliff or something. But it's kind of a playoff preview. So those two games will be fun to watch: the Chargers, Ravens, Cardinals, Browns. So yeah. All right. Well, we've covered all the comments. We've covered all the games. I got a couple sips left in the glass, and but I won't here in a second. So cheers to you, Dave, and glad you had a blast at the Raiders game. Go your Giants! And I saw a weird play. I should have got the video of that happened. That was all the talk this week of I think it was the Atlanta Braves. Guy hits the ball off of his fielding it. It goes off his elbow and out of over the fence, and the guy scores. and they had to call a ground rule double and put him back to third base, and so that really sucked. But it's just one of those weird things, and he didn't hit it out on purpose. It was just a freak off the wall, off the arm, over the wall kind of thing. So because I was like looking for intent as being a baseball official, I'm like trying to find intent. Did he hit it over, on purpose? But anyway, so any last comments?
Go Giants!
Go
Just
Giants!
Go Giants!
And with that, friends, thank you for watching the show tonight. Our viewership's going up a little bit each week. We got some new people in here, so thank you everyone for being a part of our show. Tell your friends to follow Sports and Drafts because we like to engage everyone. Kim, good night, and Corey, yes, thank you. You are welcome. We love doing this every week. So, with that, go Arizona Cardinals, and have a great week, everyone. On behalf of Dave, I'm Chuck. We're out.